So lesson 10.4, we now get to solve with radicals. Okay, we have spent all this time working with them. How do we add them? How do we subtract them? How do we multiply? How do we divide? How do we simplify them? Now we're going to solve radicals. And the first type, and this is probably what we'll just work on today, is if there is one square root, right? One radical, one square root. And if there is just one square root in the problem, our main job is going to be to isolate the radical. What do I mean by isolate? Yeah, if we're going to isolate something, we're going to get it by itself. So we're going to get that radical by itself, and then we'll square both sides of the equation. So as we look at the first example, square root of x minus 5 equals 2. First question to yourself, when there's one square root, is that square root by itself?
No.
And when I say is it by itself, is the square root the only thing on that side of the equation?
No, it's got a negative 5.
Okay, it's got a minus 5 with it. How do we move a minus 5 over to the other side of the equation?
Add 5 to both sides.
Right. If this minus 5 is being, if this 5 is being subtracted, we add 5. If we add 5 on one side, we add 5 on the other side. So square root of x will carry down. Minus 5 plus 5 will cancel. And then 2 plus 5 is 7. Right now, I know the square root of x is 7, but I need to find x.
49.
And the step is to square both sides of the equation. So when I say square, I'm talking about raising it to the power of 2. So to get rid of a square root, once it's by itself, you raise it to the power of 2. If you raise the left side to the power of 2, you raise the right side to the power of 2. When you square a square root, so when we square the square root, we get whatever's under the square root, which is x on that side. And then on the right, 7 squared is 49. Notice what it says down here.
Two radicals in the problem, one on each side.
Nope, not that. Hold on. Just check your solutions. So how do I check and see if 49 is correct?
7 times 7
Well,
or 4 plus.
but take 49 and put it
And the x.
Oh, yeah.
back in the original equation.
Yeah.
Okay, so the square root of 49 is 7, and 7 minus 5 is 2. Okay. Let's try this other one, and then that'll be a good stopping point for today. Where you started, we'll stop. Square root of 3x plus 10. Square root of 3x plus 10 equals 16.
Okay.
So the first question, is my radical by itself?
No.
Now, what's hanging out with that radical?
3x.
10 and
Well, 3x is under the radical, but what's hanging around the radical on the outside?
10.
10.
How do I move a plus 10?
Subtract from both sides.
If I subtract 10 on the left, then yes, we subtract 10 on the right. Square root of 3x. 10 minus 10 cancels. And 6 minus 10 is 6. Is my square root by itself?
No.
Well,
Yeah.
is the square root and what's underneath it the only thing on that side of the equation?
Okay.
And that's, it's the square root of 3x. So how do I deal with the square root? How do I get the square root to disappear?
Do the square both sides.
Okay, right? When you get to the point where you have just the square root and whatever's under it, we're going to raise it to the power of 2. I raise one side to the power of 2. We raise the other side to the power of 2. Okay. Now, don't make this too hard here. What happens when I square the square root?
You get what's inside of the bed, so.
You get what's inside of it. So over here, we squared the square root of x. We got x. Here, I squared the square root of 3x. I'm going to get
3x.
3x.
36.
When you square 6, you get 36. If 3x equals 36, then we
By 3.
divide by 3. And x is
6. Oh, yeah, I messed up.
36 divided by 3 is
I was looking at the
12.
6 square root. That's what I was
Okay, remember? Check your solutions, right? So take 12, put it back in here. 3 times 12 is
30. 36.
36. The square root of 36 is
Oh, 6.
6 plus 10.
Wait, hold on. I'm not thinking.
So I put 12 right in here, right?
Okay, yeah. 12 times 3 is 36 plus 10 is 46.
No, square root of 36 first.
Oh, okay, 6.
6. And then 6 plus 10 is 16. And then it checks.
Okay.
Okay? So, the square root, when there's one square root, we have to get it by itself. We'll talk tomorrow when there's 2 square roots about how we get one on each side. And then we'll also talk about,
What fractions?
no, not really fractions.
Some fractions.
So, but we'll also talk about extraneous solutions tomorrow. That's the other thing. Okay?